You saw the question that I asked regarding Ron Paul's news leaks that were created in 1996 and exposed in an article in the Houston Chronicle. Some of you were supportive of the idea that I wanted the question asked. Others of you were not, and it was almost equally split down the middle. A number of you were, I'll be absolutely honest, really were quite civilized in your discussion with me through YouTube on this matter. A few of you were not, but I don't care about that. You expressed your opinion, all right? But a lot of you said, hey, wait until Thursday. Wait until Ron Paul gets in the African-American arena and discusses African-Americans' problems. And the simple fact that he's there will prove that there is no problem. And a number of you also saw the video that I made of Bill O'Reilly and his absolutely ridiculous comments after visiting Sylvia's, a very famous restaurant in Harlem. I'm going to deal with both issues right up front. First of all, this, all right, regarding Ron Paul. Look, no one should be congratulated for attending a debate who's running for president, all right? No one. They should be criticized for not attending it. What I'm about to say is not a criticism at all of Ron Paul, but it is a criticism of Tavis Smiley, the person who is basically the MC of the debates. Why? Look, I'm black. We know that. It's obvious that I am. Fine. Why in the heck do we have to pander to those who didn't come, the Giulianis and the Fred Thompsons and the Mitt Romneys, and saying, oh, and see us. Give me a break. And the dumbest question of all was to come out and say, well, excuse me, why did you come to debate? Ron Paul was absolutely right. Because he said, look, I came because I was invited. Duh. Now, as for Congressman Paul, hearing him at that debate further justified my reasons for wanting the question that I posed answered by him. I am firmly convinced that he can handle posting an answer to that question and any others. Ron Paul is prudent, intelligent, purposeful, and direct. He's not afraid to talk to you. He does not back down from a disagreement. I would welcome any debate where those questions were posed. I really would. Now, that said, I'll say this. Ron Paul is an extreme right-wingist. He is, look, I've studied not just urban economics, not just classical economics, not just micro, not just macro. I have had 24 courses in economics. Ron Paul is a free market advocate. And with that come successes and dangers. Right now, the congressional approval rating stands at a very low 30%, depending on who you read. It means that we don't like the way government is being ran. Here comes Ron Paul to tell us that almost every single government program we have isn't working, and he's largely correct. Largely. But government exists to correct market forces. It doesn't matter what walk of life it is, and in particular with respect to race, laws are put on the books to correct them. Now, what I like about Ron Paul is because he sticks to the Constitution. He's not trying to rip apart government entirely. He's saying if we stick to the Constitution and the enforcement of constitutional laws, we'll be okay. And I essentially agree with him. Not entirely essentially. I can't go into a long diatribe about it because I only got a short amount of time on this, all right? The bottom line is I want the questions answered regarding Ron Paul and the statements that were inserted in the newsletter. I don't care if if a campaign staffer came up with them that he had to fire. Why did they get there? The newsletters were never released for review by Ron Paul. I want to know why white supremacist groups, the David Dukes of the world, the Canadian white supremacists who say that the Ron Paul newsletter was #1 reading on their list, and it's right there on the web. I want to know why Ron Paul doesn't denounce those groups. I want answers there. All right. Now, with respect to Bill O'Reilly, Bill was just being completely an idiot. All right. But Bill was talking to Juan Williams of Fox News, a person I like, have met, and extremely respect. All right. Juan took up the case of defending Bill O'Reilly about a day ago. But, look, folks, Juan Williams has a great personal relationship with Bill O'Reilly. He understands Bill's nuances. He understands where Bill is coming from. All right? A lot of us don't know Bill O'Reilly. We only see what he puts out in public, and from my perspective, what he's put out lately has been absolutely reprehensible. I don't know Bill. I haven't had the chance to sit down with Bill and just talk to Bill. A lot of us haven't. You haven't. No one has. A lot of people, well, not no one. A few people have. Juan has. So now we're forced to take Juan Williams' position and say, all right, because Juan is also a public figure and he says good things about Bill, then Bill can't be all that bad, right? Now, Juan is protecting a friend, which means that from another perspective entirely, Juan is a good person to go out and protect his friend. But it doesn't erase what Bill said. What Bill said erases the advance of African Americans through society to the point where we have African American managers, doctors, CEOs, talk show hosts, you name it, ad infinitum, and we've gotten to the point where we can comfortably say, so what? That's where we should be. And that's where we should maintain it. In other words, when I say so what, you should expect that an African American restaurant owner or talk show host or economist is going to be just like anybody else who is of a different color. All right? Because they have that title, you expect a particular level of performance from them, and you get it, and you're happy, and that's it. And you don't think twice, and you don't say, well, gee, I'm really surprised that this happened, and oh my God, that is why what Bill said was so stupid. Okay? It was absolutely ridiculous. Now, some of you may say, why am I putting Ron Paul and Bill O'Reilly together as if they are in the same church? Look, I understand they're not in the same church, but they were the most commented on videos that I posted within a very short amount of time. And they both concern the matter of race, so I wanted to address it. Where we need to advance in this country is to have a consistent and active dialogue about race, because what's happened from my perspective is that many of the social changes that have happened with respect to race have occurred within a 70-year lifespan. A lot of people, your grandparents, my parents, are still alive. Still alive, all right? Which means our society has changed dramatically. But we have young people coming up who don't understand the rapidity and the, for want of a better term, dramatic level of change that our society has went through in a very short amount of time. And because of that, some of you repeat it. Some of you use racist terms, you think it's okay. It's not okay. Some of you have ideas that are essentially racist and you think it's okay. It's not okay. Some of you have these ideas, you say, well, someone black does it or someone white does it, and therefore it's okay. It's not okay to harm someone on the basis of the color of their skin. It's wrong. It's also sick, and the American Psychiatric Association has said it's mentally ill. You shouldn't do it. So my point is, I'm very happy that Ron Paul spoke, but he should have been there at the debate. What Bill O'Reilly said was completely ridiculous, and I understand why Juan Williams defends him, because Juan is Bill O'Reilly's friend. But the bottom line in all of this is that we're having a dialogue on race, finally, through this medium of YouTube and other video distribution networks that we should have had a long, long time ago. And also, my final point is this. Tavis Smiley didn't need to handle that debate the way he did and completely object to it. It showed that we as African Americans still have an enormous inferiority complex that we need to get rid of as soon as possible.